If you add those numbers all together, I made $54,604.82 my first year trucking. The OTR wage at Schneider Bulk appears to be lower than ever. Now, I was under the impression that bulk drivers at Schneider were making $15 an hour. That was their accessorial pay. And then, of course, they got the cents per mile when they were driving. That's the common pay package if you're newcomer to Schneider. I know everybody at Schneider Bulk gets paid differently depending on which account you're on. Some accounts, they pay hourly while driving. Some accounts are local. It just depends. It varies. Some accounts pay a salary. But I feel that the common pay package for the OTR driver is the cents per mile, and the on-duty not driving. Like I said, I thought it was $15 an hour, but apparently they lowered it to $13 an hour. And this wasn't brought to my attention until one of my most recent videos about why I quit Schneider. Somebody commented on my video. Let's actually take a look at it together. This person says here that the recruiter told me 49 cents per mile and $13 an hour, no experience pay. And then I said, well, now they're lowering the hourly pay. Man, these companies are insane unless this is a dry van position. And no, he said that bulk with your orange company. So yes, this is Schneider Bulk. And I was like, oh man, where are you located? This is crazy. I thought Schneider Bulk was always on duty hourly, $15 an hour, especially since we're in the Northeast, which is what he says. And I replied, yeah, I questioned that recruiter. That doesn't even sound right. The pay should be $15 an hour on duty hourly in the bulk division, unless Schneider is just down bad and they're cutting wages. That is probably seems more like it, and that's ridiculous. And he replies, just left orientation with them, and that's exactly what they're saying. They're cutting wages. They're cutting wages every way that they can. And I replied, this is insane. Where did you go for orientation? So yeah, he didn't reply, but yes, that's the comment thread that really got me thinking, man, what is going on at Schneider Bulk? Is this like the downfall of Schneider? Is Schneider folding? I don't think they're actually folding. I just think they're going through a rough patch, and they're down bad like any other trucking company. Trucking overall is down bad. You go on the Mother Truckers channel, you see companies laying off truck drivers. Thousands of truck drivers are losing their jobs on a daily basis, it seems like. Hello, my friends. So I actually forgot to include this in the video. So I actually met somebody in Keysby, New Jersey, and we were talking about the pay details at Schneider. He was actually a new driver. It was his first day by himself. He was getting his truck, and he sent me his pay package. It says here that he was making 49 cents a mile, and his on-duty hourly pay is $13 an hour. So yes, this is the proof that Schneider did cut their hourly pay from $13 to $15 an hour. I just forgot to include it in the video, but definitely let me know in the comments down below. How do you guys feel about this? And yeah, back to the rest of the video. As a rookie truck driver coming to Schneider, can you afford these wages? $13 an hour now. No longer up here, it's down here. Can you afford this? Now, my follow-up question is, what can you do about it as a rookie? Well, if Schneider is your only option, get your experience and then get out. Because time and time again, these companies prove that their bottom line is more important than the morale of truck drivers. So the best thing you can do is get your experience and leave, especially if Schneider is your only option. And I know I said that I was against job hopping. You should plan to stay at the company for at least a year and whatnot. Listen, if it benefits you financially to leave, then leave, because statistically, you are better off financially job hopping. There was a study released by the ADP that found that if people stuck with their employer, they were only going to get a 5% raise, whereas if they switched employers, they would get a 9% raise. So yes, it is in your best interest to leave financially. But of course, there are downsides because you have to start over in terms of like PTO. You have to wait 30 to 60 days to receive health benefits. Again, there are downsides, don't get me wrong. But yes, like I said before, can you afford this lower pay package? Because mind you, today is Tuesday, yesterday was Monday. The stock market had like a flash crash that we haven't seen since the pandemic flash crash 4 years ago. Most Americans can't afford a home. We've seen record highs in inflation. And I know there are going to be people that comment on this video that say that Schneider is a mega carrier. They're never going to pay you what you're worth and whatnot. Pay shouldn't be your priority. Experience should be your priority. And I do agree with that. Okay, I do agree. But the issue is that Schneider only hires people that are 21 years old and older. That's one of their job requirements. At 21 years old, you actually do have bills 9 times out of 10. So to barely be able to afford to pay your bills as a truck driver, no matter what your experience level is asinine. So to already come to a company where, you know, instead of starting off right here in terms of wages, you're now starting off right here, that could be devastating if you have a lot of expenses. And honestly, at one point, the accessorial pay ranged between $15 and $17 an hour, depending on if you were OTR, local, regional, dedicated. I know some local accounts, they pay hourly, you know, driving and then hourly on duty. And I also know that jet set drivers, they make $30 an hour while driving, then $15 an hour on duty. And actually, it seems like the accessorial pay at Schneider was their selling point for their bulk division. Take a look.
You're in and out of the truck. You're loading and unloading that liquid out of the tank.
Yep.
So
using the brain a little bit more to kind of keep engaged.
Definitely. And because of all of that extra stuff, if you will, the compensation is definitely higher because there's so much more involved. Hey, what line of business is going to make me top dollar? The answer is typically going to be tanker.
Now, drivers in the van division, they only make $10 to $12 an hour. I guess it depends on the account. Mathematically, you should make more than a van driver because it's more labor involved with the tanker division and it's specialized. Even though it's still the lowest pay that you'll receive as a bulk driver, it still should be more than a van driver. Bulk drivers at Schneider average anywhere from 1,800 to 2,200 miles a week. And because we're dealing with a freight recession, I'd imagine those numbers are even lower. And Schneider actually factored in, Schneider Bulk, they factor in the fact that bulk drivers on average drive less than van drivers because we deal with the unloading, the loading, waiting at tank washes. And that's why the accessorial pay, the on-duty pay, was higher to, you know, to compensate for that. But since it's on par with, you know, that of the van division, it kind of makes it less worth it to go to Schneider Bulk, at least in my opinion. But people have to start somewhere, you know. People do need experience, and a lot of times Schneider is the only option. I mean, Schneider was definitely my only option for tanker experience, that is. And yes, I understand that $15 an hour is not enough for what you deal with on a daily basis as a bulk driver at Schneider. Well, $13 an hour is definitely not enough either. And the fact that Schneider is cutting wages, that kind of lets you know how much the trucking industry has just fallen over the past few years. And I've only been trucking for 1 year, but literally everywhere you go, you see disgruntled truck drivers, you see dissatisfied truck drivers. In fact, there's like a viral clip of an owner-operator literally melting down about his situation. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
I watched my life fall apart in front of me!
And yes, he's an owner-operator. Owner-operators seem to be dropping like flies. And despite trucking being a blue-collar job, most truckers can't even achieve the American dream. You know, most truckers can't afford a home, especially at this ridiculous 7% interest rate. I'd imagine it go down within the next few years to around 5 or 4%, hopefully. But where it stands right now, truckers, just like any other average American, cannot afford a home. And I want to segue into this. My last video, somebody commented and they told me that I never have anything positive to say about a trucking company. And I trolled them back and said that Schneider is an awesome company. And in all seriousness, Schneider does have their ups and downs. And despite Schneider being an entry-level tanker job, I was able to achieve some financial goals, and I'm happy to share this with you guys. One, I was able to contribute about $2,200 in my Roth IRA. Now, if I do make the advertised $1,500 at my new company, I could probably max it out by the end of the year. That's being very, very aggressive. I'd have to contribute about $300 a week to it to reach the $7,000 max, but I'm gonna try my best to do it. We'll see. And also, student loan payments are resuming either next month or October. I'm not sure, but I've already started paying off my student loans. I just made a payment of $1,000. I have about $18,000 in student loans, and hopefully I can get them all paid off by this time next year. Again, that's me being very aggressive. If I do the math, I probably have to pay about $350 a week for the next 52 weeks to pay them all off. We're off to a good start with the $1,000 payment, by the way. Now, as for how much money I've made overall my first year trucking, if you recall, I made $12,899.65 at Gordon Food Service. That's 2 months of pay. And at the Orange Company, I made $41,705.17, and this is without the per diem reimbursements. If you add those numbers all together, I made $54,604.82 my first year trucking. And this is despite being on the highest paying account at Schneider Bulk. This is how much I was able to make, the $41,705.17. And despite my first year trucking earnings being lower than the average income in the United States, which is $60,000, I made it work. But can you make it work at $13 an hour and 49 cents a mile for 1 year? 6 months? 3 months? How long can you tolerate those wages before you reach your breaking point? Because Schneider, they gave me the wonderful opportunity to get tanker experience here, but I realized that there's just no longevity here, at least for me. Now I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this ridiculous pay package? As always, you guys are the best audience on the internet. If you enjoy videos like this, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. I'm Tasia Woods, and I'll see you next time.